I'd like to yield a few minutes to Senator McCaskill.
Thank you, Senator Portman, and thank you, Mr. President. And I want to thank my colleagues, Senator Brown and Senator Whitehouse, for allowing me to, and Senator Blumenthal for allowing me to jump in here just for a couple of minutes. I just want to say that this body, the entire body, is really responsible for where we are right now, because it was during the investigation of Backpage that we realized that Section 230 was being used as a shield for the bad guys. All of the attorneys generals around the country and various law enforcement agencies and individuals trying to sue Backpage were met every time with a 230 defense. And they weren't even able to penetrate to get the documents from Backpage, to learn about what Backpage was really up to. It was the investigation where Backpage thought they would be able to win again in court and deny us our opportunity to look at the documents and to look at the underlying evidence that you should always look at in an investigation. And frankly, us getting the contempt of the Senate resolution through this body almost unanimously, I think it was unanimously, wasn't it, Senator Portman? Unanimously, and then going all the way to the Supreme Court and winning, finally was the first time that Backpage had to turn over the dirty evidence of them knowingly facilitating sex trafficking on their page. And that's why this language is knowingly facilitating. Just to make sure that going forward, no bad guys can hide behind Section 230. The other part of this bill that I think is very important, I think a lot of people forget, and with all due respect to my friends who are in this chamber that were U.S. attorneys, over 90% of the crime that's prosecuted in this country is prosecuted by local prosecutors, state prosecutors, called prosecutors or district attorneys, depending on what the state terms that is used. They have been handcuffed in terms of being able to bring these kinds of cases. This legislation not only opens up the courthouse doors to victims who have been victimized by this, but also so that the full force of American law enforcement can be brought to bear on this problem, not just the limited jurisdiction that was available around the problem of sex trafficking. This is so important to getting to the bottom of it, because many U.S. attorneys don't have the time, and frankly, many attorneys general don't have the time or the jurisdiction, frankly, to get after crime. But the local prosecutors, they don't get to decide which cases to go after. If it's 911, they've got it. And then the feds can maybe come in later and say, we've got it and we're going to take it. But they're the ones, day after day, that are in the trenches with sex crimes, and they're the ones that will now have the ability to go after these cases in a way that I think will be very meaningful. So I'm proud of the bipartisan nature of this. I'm proud of the partnership we had, Senator Portman, on the investigation. I know we're going to get a big vote on this. I think people will see through these amendments as ways to kind of slow this bill down and possibly kill it. And I hope that we all can join together in getting this across the finish line tomorrow. And I thank my colleagues for giving me a few minutes.